Good morning. So I followed my own advice and I got out a little bit earlier today. I left the house about 9 o'clock. It's still in the 80s and probably 90% humidity. We've been having thunderstorms every day, and I think we're going to probably have one again today. But right now, it's just beautiful. So I'm out hiking around a lake that's close to my home, and this is not a wilderness experience, but it's beautiful. They have a nice little gravel road here that I'm walking on. Here, let me show you. Anyway, it's very beautiful here and I'm enjoying it. So when I hiked the Camino, I really didn't have any idea how long it was going to take me when I made my plans. So I booked out 6 weeks to do it. And I bought a plane ticket coming home from Santiago on June 10th. Well, I finished my Camino at Finisterre on June 3rd. That left me a week left to do something. So I was, what am I going to do? I can change my ticket and just go home. I was having a great time, and I didn't want to go home just yet. I was still enjoying seeing parts of the world I hadn't seen before. And so I decided, well, where can I go? Well, in Europe, you can get to just about anything. You know, it's pretty close. So I thought, well, maybe I'll hop a train to Barcelona. That'd be cool, on the Mediterranean. I looked it up. The train ride was long. It was going to be like 10, 11 hours, something like that. And I thought, well, I don't want to spend all that much time on a train. So I thought maybe I'll just take a flight there and then fly back to Santiago. That seemed to be pretty complicated. I thought, well, I'll go to Paris, spend a week in Paris. That would have been cool. But ultimately what I decided to do, because others that I had hiked with were doing this, was to hop on a bus and go to Porto, Portugal. And that bus ride was only a few hours. And of course, now I got another country under my belt. So I spent a couple of days in Finisterre, and then I took a bus from Finisterre back to Santiago, and I caught a bus from Santiago to Porto, Portugal. Now, if you remember, I said in one of the videos that nobody wanted to see my vacation. I wasn't going to be hiking. I was just going to be on vacation. And I said nobody wanted to see that. Well, apparently people did want to see that. I had several comments from people saying, hey, we wanted to see Portugal. So I did take pictures while I was there, like any tourist. And here I put together a video with those pictures and some narration about what I was doing. So I hope you enjoy it. Like I said, I didn't go there with the intention of making a video. While I was on the Camino, I knew I was going to make a video every day. So I was taking pictures because of that video. I didn't do that in Portugal, but I hope you enjoy it. So here we go, Porto, Portugal. I found two apps I could use. One was Monbus and the other was Flixbus. The Monbus app actually booked tickets on the Flixbus. Both of these apps served me well, and I have to admit that other people told me how to do this. Once I got my ticket and got on the bus, I was surprised to find how nice they were. They were actually nicer than riding in an airplane. They even had a bathroom. The trip was a few hours, and it was actually quite pleasant. I arrived in Porto at the bus station, and I got transportation to my hotel. I had decided I was going to pamper myself on this trip. Unlike walking across Spain, this was going to be a tourist adventure. So I decided to get a nice hotel with nice amenities. I stayed at the Boeira Garden Hotel, and this was in Gaia, which was actually the city next to Porto, but it was within walking distance. As a matter of fact, I walked every day into Porto to tour the city. The hotel was really luxurious, the staff was just amazing, and I really enjoyed my stay there. I took advantage of the spa and of the masseuse. My hotel was part of a winery that actually was on the tour route. So there was one of those hop-on, hop-off tour stops that was right in front of the hotel. So I decided to get a 2-day ticket for that. This turned out to be the only paid tour I was able to get. I found out that it's difficult when you're a single person to book a tour. They always want at least 2 people. Porto is the second largest city in Portugal after Lisbon. The city is famous for its port wine, the stunning Douro River views, the historic Ribeira district, and I'm sure that I'm messing up that word, and many bridges across the river. It was a major tourist attraction, and it's very hilly. Kind of think like visiting San Francisco and doing a hiking tour through San Francisco, and you are at Fisherman's Wharf with the millions of people. Although I was supposed to be resting, I think I got as many steps in walking Porto as I did walking the Camino. It's replete with cafes and buskers on the street. There are little shops that sell curios, and you name it. It's really quite quaint and very beautiful. This was an especially cool place I visited. It was the St. Francis Church and Museum, and also the St. Francis Catacombs. The catacombs were under the church, and for the price of admission, you could go down and visit them. They obviously had been refurbished, but it was a cool, creepy place. There was actually one spot that had a glass on the floor, and you could look through and see bones just scattered along the floor. So I walked up the alley to the left of this McDonald's, and there was a sign that explained that this McDonald's was built into an ancient building. I think it had been a home. but I didn't write it down and I just don't remember. So if anybody knows about this, please leave it in the comments. I wished I could remember it. I have to confess, I ate a hamburger there. I'm so ashamed of myself. As I said before, I stayed on the Via Nova de Gaia side of the river and crossed over into Porto every day, and I had to cross over this bridge. This is the Ponte Dom Louis I bridge. It was designed by German architect Theophile Seyring, who was a disciple and business partner of the French engineer Alexander Eiffel, of the Eiffel Tower fame. The Ponte Dom Louis I had the longest span of any metal bridge in the world when it was completed in 1886. I crossed over on the lower portion of that every day. For €15, I took a boat tour of all of the bridges. I think there were 6. And one of the things I liked about Porto and visiting this area in Portugal was the international nature of the tourism. So when they gave this boat tour, they did it in several different languages. I think they did it in, of course, Portuguese, Spanish, English, French, and Italian. It was really interesting. So listen to a portion of that boat tour.
Monumento nacional. Senhores passageiros, Ponte São João. A Ponte São João foi inaugurada no dia 24 de junho de 1991, dia da Festa Popular de São João. O seu projeto ficou a cargo do engenheiro Edgar Cardoso. Esta ponte ferroviária foi construída para substituir a antiga ponte Dona Maria Pia e é atualmente a única ligação ferroviária entre as duas cidades. Ladies and gentlemen, São João Bridge. This railway bridge was inaugurated on the 24th June of 1991 on the day of the popular festival of St. John. This bridge was designed by the engineer Edgar Cardoso. Was built to replace the old Dona Maria Pia bridge, and nowadays it's the only railway connection between the cities. Mesdames et Messieurs, le pont Saint-Jouin. Ce pont de chemin de fer a été inauguré le 24 juin 1991 au jour de la fête populaire de Saint-Jean. Son auteur est l'ingénieur Edgar Cardoso. Il a été construit.
Porto Cathedral is a Roman Catholic church located in the historic center of the city of Porto, Portugal. It's one of the city's oldest monuments and one of the most important local Romanesque monuments. The cathedral was started in the latter part of the 12th century, and it was worked on constantly up until the 16th century. This doesn't include the fact that it was also worked on up until the 20th century, but the majority of it was made during those times. During the 18th century, the exterior of the building was greatly altered. This was during the Baroque times. Due to road construction, I had to take a detour through the São Bento train station. Boy, was I glad I did. The São Bento station probably lays claim to being Portugal's most beautiful train station. The station was designed by José Marques de Silva, completed in 1903 and inaugurated in 1916, and it was just a really cool thing to see. Although the train station was 100 years old, the train platform itself was modern and up to date, and there was quite a few trains there. The place was really busy. Here's a marker for the Portuguese way on the Camino de Santiago. So what do you think? 2024? Porto is famous for its port wine. So moving back across the bridge to the Gaia side, there are port caves where you can do tastings. These vary from fancy guided tours to casual tastings. I opted to do a casual tasting at a cafe on the river. Well, that's it. I really enjoyed my time in Porto, and if you ever get a chance to go to Portugal, don't miss out on seeing Porto. Well, my time was up. I caught a bus back to Santiago and then a plane back to the States. Well, thanks for watching to the end. I hope you enjoyed these pictures of Porto. If you did, please like and subscribe and leave a comment.